Man, what's popping? L.A.R. movement still moving. As you can see by the title of this, can Black America win playing by the book? So this started actually last night. So I've been watching Snowfall and Shameless. But a friend of mine, she told me to watch Snowfall a long time ago. I just didn't. I don't like I said it numerous times. I don't really watch TV like that. So watching Snowfall, getting into it or whatever, and I'm looking at a particular scene between Franklin and his mom. He bought his mother a house, but Franklin, if anybody never watched the show, Franklin is a drug dealer. So Snowfall is based in like 83, 84, when the government got in business with the Iran Contra. So, but drugs for guns for Nicaragua and everything else happened. What's up, Entanglement? What's up, Marley? And basically, you got the government that was white, buying drugs, giving them to Mexicans and blacks. And the crack era just started. That's how it started. But he was telling his mother something. He bought his mother a house, and his mother was like, "I'm not taking this house because you got it with illegal money." And he told his mother, well, you did everything the right way, and you got fired from your job. How does that make sense? Go, shalom, fam. Eviscerator, what's going on? You know, what's up? What's up, Griffey? TD, what's popping? And he basically was like, listen, man, you keep it or let it go. I don't even care. What's up, Patrick? Because at the end of the day, everybody else is not playing by the rules. So this is what got me to make this. Kareem, what's happening? It's a question. I might be a little bit more, as you say, pessimistic about the answer. You know what I'm saying? You know, well, I'm gonna get into that. So the first thing is first, can Black America win? You know, playing by the rules. Well, first and foremost, who made the book? Because the rules are in the book, right? So, euphemism, however you want to call it. But who made the book? So because the people who made the book of rules don't really have rules like that. And that's what I was watching in the show. What's up, Raider? You know, Happy to see you. If wanting black people to play by the rules and do it by the book and do it the right way. Well, what in this country was done by the book and done the right way? Was this country conceived by the book in the right way? Was this country was this country built the right way by the book? Was this country maintained the right way by the book? Has this country as the systems in this country created by the book? And what I'm saying by the book, it's partially moral code, ethical code, religious code, business code. You know what I'm saying? Was everything done? Is the book a book of things on the up and up? Like people doing things the right way in the just way? And for me, the answer is no. For me, the answer is no. You know, so if can Black Americans win playing by the book? I think it's two different books. That's part of I think America's issue, part of Black America's issue. I was listening to BGS a little bit yesterday, talking about black people, black men being double-minded too. You have your the white mind, and you have the black mind. You're taught to have a white mind in the school system and in society, but you grow up black, so you have a black mind because it doesn't work the same for you as it would for somebody white. So going by the book, doing things the white way, or some people say the right way, doesn't work for you. It doesn't work the same way. And, other people could put their groups in there. Well, my group, blah, 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 blah. We do things by the book. And this is why I looked at Snowfall as a launching point for this subject, is because I was talking to my woman about this, where the white guys in Snowfall were working for the government. So they had carte blanche to do whatever they wanted. The Hispanics were in the streets slash involved with the government. So they could do whatever they want to a certain extent. You know what I'm saying? And the blacks had no leverage. We're just working for people who's working for people. Not even knowing the full grasp of how high up this thing goes. So this is the thing about, doing things by the book. The book that society tells you, this is how to do things the right way. But the people telling you this is how to do things the right way didn't do things that way to get where they're at. They did things this other way. So what does playing by the book mean for them? Playing by the book is, okay, I did this to get ahead. And now that I'm ahead, I'm going to say the book is this right here. You need to follow this. And which means, do as I say, not as I do. So I want not playing by the book, telling you to play by the book, but you need to play by the book to win, because if you don't, that's wrong, says you. Which for me is like, can we win at it? I don't know about that. I just have a strong issue with that. Number two, which is more important, what are the rules? When we talk about when we look at society, we already know we have rules in society, but the rules are not uniform. The rules are subjective. The rules are based in, okay, this is all of the rules for everybody, but these people could do this and these people could do that. Man, Goshen, thanks, fam. Hold up. The rules are fluid, absolutely. Exactly. In my opinion, the rules are fluid and changed by those in control as they see fit when they deem necessary. Playing by the rules is not really feasible. Being flexible according to the circumstances is required. I definitely get that. Jay, what's up? So this is where we at in society, where, everybody says, okay, these are the rules, but these are the rules, but they affect me this way. They affect you that way. But if you're doing something for me, I can get them to bend the rule for you. But if you're doing that for yourself, then blah blah blah. So what's playing by the rules? Because I felt bad for the mother in the show, because she was holding on to her morality while everybody around her, whether they were in corporate America, regular America, or the underworld of America, were playing by a different set of morals. Their morality wasn't at play. They didn't care about their morals. And the other thing I was noticing is other groups weren't caring about morals either. It was a hypocritical look on morality and ethics. So, remembering an old documentary on PBS about business and how black people have a hard time in corporate America, where at the time when American Express had the black CEO, he said, it was like, well, if you can do it, that means anybody can do it. It's like, no. He said, see, And the guy asked him, well, black people are successful. He said, do you understand why black people are successful in sports? And the guy was like, yeah, they're, bigger, stronger, faster. He's like, no. Why blacks are more successful in sports is because everybody watching the sport knows all the rules. So if you watch two teams play, everybody on the field, the refs, and the crowd know all of the rules. So if they know all of the rules, they know when you're breaking the rules and cheating to get ahead. What's up, brother Rob? Patrick, I got you. Yeah, cold line discount. I got you on that. So you got these people, everybody knows the rules. So now it's a fair playing field because even the crowd knows. The crowd can take a win. Jamal, my bad. I didn't even say what's up to you. The crowd can say we won the game knowing, okay, we cheated this whole time. So is it a win? Not really. We didn't beat anybody. We cheated somebody. And both sides know that. The refs know that. Cheating is built into what I used to talk about all the time is home field advantage. That's a basic advantage, right? But the fact that everybody knows the rules in sports is one thing. But the flip side that he said in business, that's not the case. In business, you can change the rule. If something works for you, what's up, Chaos? If something works for you and it's supposed to be at somebody else's detriment and then they beat you with that, all you're going to do is change the rule. See, we ain't got to do that in the business. I can do something else. I can do something else. I can do something else. So now, when we think about business in America, what are the rules? What exactly are the rules? Because we've known for years, okay, if black people play by the book in business, that doesn't mean that you're not going to get overcharged at the distributors. That does not mean you're not going to get overcharged when you if you rent out a spot. That does not mean you're not go. And if you make that doesn't mean your neighbors in quote unquote business aren't going to call the cops on you because there's too many black people congregating there. If you're in particular areas, that doesn't mean that's all somehow part of the rules. That doesn't mean that people can't cause you issues in your business. Now, it don't depend on the business. This works in every field, Jay. I mean, even Robert Smith, if you listen to BGS talking about it yesterday, even Robert Smith says, to be a billionaire, if you're black in America, you can't put your face on your business and everybody know that it's owned by you and you black. That's not going to work. You got to own and run a business in America under the cover of being, it could possibly, it's probably ran by somebody white. What's up, Astro? What's up, PC? So that's part of the rules. That's why that's why they're black business owners who own quote unquote stakes in quote unquote white business or white franchises, because people for some odd reason they'll patronize it because this white folk stuff. So if you're black, you can't play by the that's part of the rules you got to play by. Now the third part that cracks me up about this is, did they win going by the book? What are the rules? Did they win going by the book? And what I mean by that, did they cut corners or play people? Did they do that? Black celebs. We're not talking about what percentage of the black populations are celebrities? What? 0.5, 1%, 3% tops. That's part of the reason why I think, can black America win playing by the book? Because you can't, a bunch of anomalies in entertainment are not gonna help us win in a total sense. It doesn't make sense. Other celebrities have other things. They have actual people who are their own in their own group who actually run the camera company, run the advertisement campaign, own the distribution plant for the products that are being advertised on the screen. That's part of the thing. But do other people win going by the book? And part of the reason I was saying that is because there's a particular scene with Lucia, I want to say, and Gustavo, where they got caught, and the chick wanted to turn state's evidence to get immunity, and she was willing to roll over the white guys, and she was like, "Okay, I'll tell everything on the white folks, because if they was in my position, they'd tell on me." Then she wound up doing that with black folks too, but her boyfriend was kind of looking at her like, "Okay, he threw the white folks under the bus, and then she immediately threw the black folks under the bus." She was like, "Okay, now you just doing anything to save yourself." Not like it mattered per se. It was just the principle of how quick she turned from one thing to the other. Black pill was popping, So at the end of the day, can you win playing by the book? And the irony of it is, I'm not too sure about that. The reason why I say that, I got topics, but I'm gonna get into just a serious conversation. Let's skip half of this stuff because I don't even want to go all in. I wanted to go in order, but I just want to get at it. Fredro, what's up? Thanks, fam. Social media sites like YouTube have allowed us to legally balance the universe and gain knowledge on things like credit repair and stock trading. I definitely get that. And I am speaking from a community standpoint. I get what Jay, it seemed like, speaking from an individual, but I get what you're saying though. And PC said, you can't win playing by the book. Now, this is what I mean. They said when you're black, if you get an education, that levels the playing field. So playing by the book is going to school and getting an education. But now, going to school and getting an education, depending on what you do, can level the playing field. You get what I'm saying? What's up? What's up, King Hannibal? My bad. So now, CJ, what's popping? So now, it's putting you in debt. Somebody purposely putting you in a situation where you're going to be in debt while they told you that education to get you out of poverty becomes a problem. Because you playing by the book and you wind up in poverty looking like you're making money. You wind up in, the working poor that the vast majority of us call the middle class. Because that's all the middle class is the working poor. But some working poor people live in better areas and neighborhoods than other working poor people. So if you play by the book and go to school and get an education, now you earn tens of thousands, if not 100,000, that's a problem. Now, the other thing about that is, 5 figures and 6 figures in debt. How about I say it like that? So when you play by the book like that, now you got to figure out a hustle, a side hustle. This is why they say a millionaire has 6 different streams of passive income coming in. It makes sense. And if people could, okay, I need 6 different ways to make money so I could become a millionaire. Well, that's great. But if you play by the book, how will these other people in all of these fields, how they gonna feel about it? How they gonna feel about it? Are they gonna try to attack you for you, quote unquote, playing by the book and doing it the right way and the fair way and leaving people alone? No, they're gonna get at you because they feel like, I could get at you. And this is part of the financial thing. Like years ago, they had this experiment You know, hold up, Jay. Our communities are poisoned with feminism, generations of young men who don't even know the book exists. Everybody knows the book exists. Thanks, Truth Seeker. And it ain't just feminism. You know, the one thing that I get that though. And hold up. Thanks, Truth Seeker. That in Hannibal, that's what I talked about earlier. When you dealing with people who change the rules, they change the rules to benefit them. So how can you play by the book? Because when nobody's aware of what the rules are in the book, what's up in mind until it's too late. Now, getting back to this part, because I'm gonna open it up. Don't get me wrong. That's why I'm about to just start speeding it up and get at it. I'm gonna open it up to say what winds up happening when you see people who win playing by the book, and you see how excellent they have to be. Like you say, I'm gonna use an example. Michael Jordan played by the book. Robert Smith played by the book. And look how excellent they had to be for an extended period of time to win playing by the book. And look at the other people around them who did some trifling things, who didn't have to play by the book, who didn't have to have their talent, who didn't have to be excellent, who didn't have to create something that basically changed the face of society because they were in another group. They could just take somebody else's invention. They could just take, sit there and poach off of somebody else's stuff or benefit off of somebody else's stuff. So, but that's playing by the book, right? So you can't tell me that nowadays everybody is playing by the book. When I saw somebody keeps putting up this white guy talking about the George Floyd tape, when you got to justify him being killed like that or murdered like that, you're a person who, if black people got to deal with people who think like that, we can't win playing by the book, because under no circumstances is it ever going to be fair, because it's going to always be somebody like this, tripping. As a matter of fact, some of y'all might or might not know this. Recently, one of the Oakland A's coaches got caught for throwing up the Nazi sign in the middle of a baseball game. You know what I'm saying? So now where we at? Willie was popping. So now where we at? Yeah, but how many? You ain't got to be white to do. How many white Michael Jordans do you know? Is what I'm asking, Jay. How many white Michael Jordans do you know who had to be excellent that long to create something? How many? Because to be black in America, you have to be highly exceptional, and you have to prove it over and over and over and over and over and over again. When you're non-black, you don't have to do that. You don't. You be good with, if you get a magical year run, Luka Doncic can ball. He don't have to be. So you think that Luka Doncic has to hold up. So just Jay, you think Luka has to win 6 championships? Go 6-0? You think Luka has to, if you look at Luka right now, he has to stay on that trajectory for 10 more years straight and become the face of the league for those 10 years as a white guy. And he ain't even from America. It ain't finna happen. It ain't, he ain't got to be that great. He don't have to be that great. He can make the All-Star team numerous. He can go on a nice 5-year run, if that, and be Steve Nash, one of the greatest point guards of all time. That's just what it is. But right, double the work for half of the payout. There are a lot of black people who do that, though. There are a lot of exceptional black people in America, and those people are playing by the book and have played by the book for years. So the question is, can everybody win like that? I'm not saying everybody needs to be a criminal. That's crazy. But what I'm saying is, we're dealing as a community with people who are very much so cheaters. And now I put the link in the chat because I just want to let's have this conversation publicly. Like, who thinks that we can actually win playing by the book? Who thinks? Who thinks we could do that? Same thing, that's why people bring religion into it. You got, what about God? Let me ask you something. When you look at all these other groups of people who bring up God in America, do they they don't even act God, they don't even follow those rules in their own group, and they really follow devilish rules when they're facing other groups. So they're not even playing by that book. The Bible is not a book. If you look at the Bible as a book and as America's a Christian nation, you can't win being black and you playing by the rules of the Bible. You can't win being black and play by the rules of the Constitution. You can't win being black playing by the rules of the Bill of Rights or affirmative action or Title IX. Title IX maybe because that's a woman's thing. So, but as a group, you can't win. I feel like Michael Jackson in the Wiz. You can't win. This is where we at with it. Because it comes a point. What's up, Chaos? Give me 1 second, fam. Let me switch this mic to this thing. Hold up. Can you hear me? Hold up. Check. Jay, I got you. Got you.
Yeah, what's good, man? Do I sound clear? Do I got background noise? What's the status?
You clear. Jay, you say something.
What's going on, brother?
What's happening? Hold on. RBR, I got you. All right.
So not this nigga.
Chaos, you first, then you, Jay, then you, RBR. Let me cut my camera off so we could.
Yeah, well, the background's good. What you got? You got to go camera off. You said a lot, L.A.R. One thing I find what people don't understand about the society, true colors are revealed. Even with the thing where I heard now they have the actual videotape before they led to the man's death. And to be honest with you, bro, I have never watched his I did see highlights of it, but I never really watched when our people get killed like that through social media like that. I don't digest that stuff because we already know how we feel and act once we see ourselves getting killed on camera, rather as a man or a woman. It brings a certain feeling, a negative feeling, to see ourselves being killed brutally. And we know that there's no justice at the end of the road for a lot of these deaths, rather in the hand of black people or in the hand of non-black people. You get me? Mm-hmm. So to sit there and make a new scenario to paint a different picture shows you this is where we at. You get me? Yeah. And as a collective, we're very disconnected. As you know, a lot of dudes know say our sisters are very disconnected by us, and some of us are disconnected with them. And we have not come to a conclusion with each other, saying that no matter how this goes, you're going to have to stick with each other, no matter what. Just like the same scenario when on another stream, when a particular outsider, and you heard about this, L.A.R. Moon, was talking about his. I'm just going to give you a heads up. How this dude, non-black man, talking about say that how he has sex with our sisters and beat them, and a lot of dudes were laughing and finding it's a good thing. But he go around and turn around and talk about the intelligence of black men. So it goes back that we still submit our will with these people, and we not gonna disconnect at any time soon. To saying that we're in a very serious times, that these tribes are really tightening up. You get me? Mm-hmm. They come in our space and then try to see where our head's at, and we still give it to them. It's not a good look overall. It better off we stay mute if they even try and entertain us in our space. You get me?
Yeah.
because they have no justification to even be speaking to us at this climate right now. But that's my opinion. I'm gonna let somebody else talk to hear what else.
You got it, Jay.
Well, yeah. Thanks for having me on. First and foremost, I appreciate that. Yeah. So it's not okay. Okay. So when it comes to the book, right? Right now, our current attorney general is a black guy. So he played. I'm pretty sure he played by the book and to get to the position that he's in right now. So yeah, I mean, if you want to play the game, any game that you so choose to play, and reach the height of those what's names of those of the ranks within them, I think that there's plenty of space, particularly now and specifically over the last 30 years, because one of the things that gets lost in the sauce quite a bit is that now isn't then. Everyone likes to have this idea that after the signing of the Civil Rights Act, a completely different paradigm was placed into Black America, namely the Homestead Act, which brought a whole bunch of immigrants to the United States and really just funneled them into urban, quote unquote, Black communities. And it's a nice little mix up and an easy way in which to exploit the history of descendants from people who aren't particularly descendants, and that's been going on for probably about the last 40, 50 years now. So when you see all of these people who scream about, oh my goodness, it's just so terrible, so awful being Black in America, particularly of that celebrity class in which we spoke. And another thing, the analogy that you used with Michael Jordan, I feel like, when it comes to the game of basketball, Michael Jordan was completely exceptional. And when it comes to talent, I think talent is colorblind, particularly when it comes to the arts and entertainment and like even math and STEM and science and philosophy and all these other things. I believe that.
Hold on, Jay. RBR.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. No.
Go ahead, RBR. My bad.
No. RBR.
Yes.
I'm gonna ask you this because I said you after Jay, but I would like to have a conversation with Jay about what he's just saying. So could you hold on for a second?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. That's why I appreciate it, man. What you just said is part of America's problematic idea about talent and race in America, in my opinion.
You don't think that talent should supersede race?
No, talent. Talent should. Talent doesn't.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing. Michael Jordan was, because that's the example that you used. Jordan.
I also use Robert Smith.
So
I also use Robert Smith though.
Okay, well, both of them. I mean, there's LeBron James. There's different levels of talent. Like there are people who are exceptional at all different things in life. There's people who can whistle exceptionally, and if they can find a way to get paid for it, and that's another thing that I was speaking about in when you were talking about. When I was talking about how Black celebs do it, I was just generally using the fact that, you can license yourself. You yourself can become a limited liability company and open business accounts and, have all of that fun with that type of money and open business credit lines and all that other goodness, Like that's a fun little fact that us as, like when I was talking about the book and not knowing that the book exists, that we don't know that these options are available to us. Okay, go ahead.
Jay. Let me rewind this because I don't want us to go too fast because this is a conversation I do want to have. I brought up Robert Smith because Robert Smith isn't a celebrity. He isn't an entertainer. He's actually in STEM. He's actually part of one of the guys who's really responsible for the cloud that we use now.
Yeah, there's tons of black people in STEM.
Hold on, but the thing about it was, he even talked about being in a room when he was at I forgot I think IBM or something like that.
Okay.
And
great.
He knew how to do everybody else's job because he did everybody else's job, but he got paid less than everybody in the room because he was doing their work. This is part of if you playing by the book, you even in business, you know, with your talent, you can be sitting in a room of people who don't look like you, who get paid more than you for you doing their job.
And you can getting shortchanged like a motherfucker.
So he didn't win. You remember, he moved out, he left that company. He couldn't win playing by the book, even in that business scenario.
And he went on to do what again exactly?
Some type of venture capitalism.
So he's a successful guy, despite that.
Despite that.
Exactly. And the deal is that
there's the problem.
Like here's the thing about these individual situations, right? Or anecdotal evidence is that when it comes down to it, like I don't know, like what I personally would be like, hey, you should negotiate yourself a better salary, or when it comes salary negotiation time, you know, you got choices to make. He made choices that didn't deny him his success.
You do realize you skipped over the fact that everybody around him wasn't playing by the book.
I don't know who was playing by what because I'm not in that room.
No. Like, okay, hold on. If you're in a room, hold on, Jay. Just hold on. If you're in a room, you are in a room,
if I'm in a room,
and you because you don't just up and come in the room and say, "Oh, I'm getting shortchanged," and you start getting the information and find out you're doing the work, you're getting paid the least. That means the room is playing by the book, or they're not playing by the book.
That means me and the manager got a conversation to have. Though whoever's signing off on my payroll, there's a conversation. There's some negotiations to be had within that. If I find out that like, yo, wait, I'm like, wait there, Kirk, you're making $150,000 where I'm making $30,000 a year. What the fuck?
So does that mean they were playing by the book or not?
And due to my value, due to my inherent value, seeing how I do so much, yeah, I should be able to work myself. I should be able to get something else like that. Or if not, I'll do exactly what Mr. Smith did and just curve and go elsewhere and do something different. I mean, it's like when it comes to I didn't really want to touch this, but I kind of have to. When it comes to the whole George Floyd thing, right? Yeah, I'm gonna go there. Deal is that it wasn't racial. None of it was racial. They didn't like. Yes, he lost his life, but I watched the entire encounter, and there was the cops were pretty chill, and I've dealt with some asshole cops. The cops were pretty chill with him. And that's a big part of the reason why I don't see them going and getting we got some really weird prosecutors right now. But
where you from?
That wasn't a racial incident. He didn't die because he was black.
Where are you from?
Jersey.
You from Jersey?
Yeah.
Do you have a Jersey accent?
I guess.
No. I know people from Jersey. You don't.
Okay.
Do you live in Jersey?
Yes, I do.
So you live in Jersey, you from Jersey, but you don't have a Jersey accent.
Nope.
Okay.
I guess not.
You're saying that it's not racial.
I'm telling you.
Okay,
so they didn't murder him.
Wait,
hey, nigger, I hate you. No, it wasn't that, dude. Sorry.
So if they didn't say, "Hey, nigger," so if they had said, "Hey, nigger, I hate you," that would have been the magic pill.
Well, yeah,
to say, okay, that was racial.
Like, oh my god, oh my god, yes, definitely. Oh,
you know that? Okay, so what you're saying is somebody
to help him out.
Hold on.
He himself said, "Put him on the ground."
Hold on. Can you name me another race of people that counterfeit $20 bill thing would happen to?
It happens
the exact same way.
Anyone.
Name a person.
If someone, like honestly, you can switch the colors out on this, man. If you go look at it and you turn it to Hepita or something like that, right? And you change the colors out. I'm sorry, it's an unfortunate accident, but it was an accident.
Okay. If that's the case, if that's the case, you ain't got to put sauce on it because everybody start putting sauce on it to make it something extra when it's not. If that's the case, tell me somebody who is non-black, who has been in a situation similar and wound up dying like that.
I will give you a worse one right now. You can look this up. This happened recently, like this week. There was a white guy who was playing Crash Bandicoot, and the cops just like he had his gun when he came to the door, right? But the cops just lit him up, brother. And it was a white dude.
Arizona,
you may not have heard about it.
It was in Arizona. His girlfriend was
the one in Arizona. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they broke them down. Like this is like, and here's the thing.
Wait. Did George Floyd come out with a gun?
Of course not. No.
Wait.
Which is the danger in comparing apples to oranges, my guy.
No. I'm not finna. No. You can't look. Hold on, Jay. I don't move the goalposts.
Don't do this, Lar. Don't do this, Lar.
No. Chill out. I don't move the goalposts. I said a similar situation.
So a similar
not,
situation.
Let's say okay, because what you're talking about, you could transpose that to something like that, like a Trayvon Martin situation, apartment complex, nighttime, blah blah blah. Tell me a situation where you seen somebody non-black go to a store and say, "Oh, your car got declined. Oh, you gave me a bad 5," and they wind up dead.
Well, if Live PD were still on, when I would have you, I'm pretty sure there are tons of videos, particularly in the white trash areas, of them having similar interactions with cops.
Yes, because there's plenty of people because they're black. It happens every day. All right, can we move on to?
No, you know what? You go for it, RBR. My bad.
Okay, yeah, because we could talk about the white people who were killed because they were black all day long. All right, so here we go. Yes. We do get what we focus on. I was going to tell Irene that if you focus in golf, if you focus on not hitting it in the water, your mind cannot tell the difference between don't hit it in the water and hit it in the water. Your mind is going to hit the ball on the point that you focus on. So you have to focus in the middle of the fairway 300 yards down the way so that you will hit it there as opposed to hitting it in the water. So if you focus on dusties and you focused on high value men who are really dusties lying about being high value men, or you focus on the gay man, only gay man in Bahamas, him, Terry Green, then you will find that, because whatever you focus on, the criminality, the falseness, the lying, the fact that white people get killed because they're black all the time, if you focus on that shit, then that's what will manifest itself. As far as Michael Jordan was concerned, when Michael Jordan came out of North Carolina, he was focused on how broke he was. How could he get some money? He was focused on that like a laser. So Nike said, I'll give you $100,000 for the Air Jordan shoe. He signed on the dotted line. Why? Because he was focused on being broke. Now, when Nike made $1 billion off that shoe, then he changed his focus. He wasn't focused on being no more. He was focused on making $1 billion himself, and he came up with the Jumpman logo, and he made $1 billion. So, to your point, Lar, you can focus on the dusties and on the white boys and hedge money and on criminality and all that old shit, but you have to be willing to change your focus when you find out that that's bullshit and they're not killing white people because they're black. They're only killing black people because they're black. So when you change your focus to what the truth is, instead of some bullshit that some racists want to make an excuse for so they can kill black people, then you can have a better situation in life. So Robert P. Smith, I don't like what Robert P. Smith did. He saw the white boys were getting 15% on each loan that they were giving to students that students couldn't pay back for their whole life. And the school was giving him a percentage because they get 15% from each loan too. And the bank gets 15%. So he was getting a kickback by telling students, don't take them Pell Grants that Obama gave you $70 billion worth of Pell Grants that pay for your whole school that you don't have to pay back. Go get the student loan so I can get 15%, so I can be rich. So when he paid off those brothers' student loans at Morehouse, he was trying to encourage other people that if they take out $8.6 trillion in student loans, that some millionaire will come out the woodwork and pay off their loan when you know damn good and well they won't. So he's just trying to get rich by looking at how the white boys was ripping students off, and he decided to rip them students off himself. And that is not what we want.
I'm gonna get to something about that, but I'm gonna still keep to the topic. Robert F. Smith was a billionaire before he got to that school campus. What he did was something that
he's an investment banker, Lar. He was
a billionaire before he did that.
I'm not understanding how he became a billionaire.
No, I'm saying he was a billionaire before he showed up.
I know
what he did. Let me finish. What he did with something that people do who are rich. They do that from time to time. I don't care if it could be a tax write-off or not, but I do. But I also remember
how you made the money. I think for our discussion,
hold on. RBR, two things. One, whatever you got on your background, it reverbs a little too much.
Okay.
So it's
I hear it, but I don't think that's me.
I can hear it. It's coming from your mic.
I don't think that's me.
But the other thing is just using Robert. I can hear it. It's only coming from you. The other thing is coming from the scenario with Robert F. Smith. I remember him saying at the end of him saying he was gonna pay everything off. He said, "Now I'm gonna see what you other what are y'all gonna do for the next generation? Because student loans is a problem." And
right.
part of
Pell Grants, you don't have to get a student loan if you get a Pell Grant.
You can't get a Pell Grant without getting a student loan.
No, that's not true.
Yes, that is true.
100% of your needs, 100% of your college. Why can't you accept the truth? Here's the truth. He made his money as an investment banker. They get a commission on every loan they give. They get a commission, L.A.R. So if 10 million students take out loans, he gets 15% from each student. That's how he became rich. So the people don't want to know what he did with the money once he became rich. People want to know how he became rich. That's how he became rich. And saddling students with loans they never pay back.
First and foremost, this topic is about can Black America win playing by the book, right?
Yes. But you can also win by robbing banks. So what I'm saying is, let's not.
Wait.
If you focus on robbing banks, you can win.
I'm not finna do this.
I'm doing the goddamn right thing.
Yeah, chill, bro. Because I'm not finna do that. I'm not finna go that far down the rabbit hole today. I'm trying to keep it in a specific speed for a reason.
Yeah. Okay? I want to be a gangster.
No, I don't want to be a gangster. You want to be a liar.
What?
Thing about
I want to be a liar.
You want to claim that
because criminals don't. You doing something? I'm gonna tell y'all what I'm finna do. I'm not gonna say and pretend like the hood don't exist, my guy. Okay, so like criminality it's been fostered in the community for a really long time, and there's a lot of folks who have been geared towards being institutionalized, who are used to being institutionalized. So don't sit here and pretend like we don't have an underworld.
Listen, I'm not finna do this. We're grown. We can have an actual discussion without going off of the rails. I'm not finna do this.
I don't think
y'all don't take shots at the man so he can start going down this way, so we don't have this type of response. I'm gonna just start kicking folks off. We can't talk. That's just what it is. I get somebody else up here who act like they got some sense. My bad, Jay, but I had to say that. I'm trying to unmute you. God dog it. Unmute yourself, Jay, because I keep trying to unmute you. I don't know if I'm muting you while doing it. Okay. But that's what this is about. I want to know, can we win if we play by the book or not? Do I have my own concerns about saying we really can't because it's an unfair situation in. But at the same time, I can use people as evidence, even anecdotal evidence or factual evidence says the same thing statistically. We're 13, 14, depending on how people see it, somewhere from 13 to 20-some% of the American population. There is nothing outside of sports that we are 13 to 22% of. I'll take that back. Sports and the military. Outside of that, we don't own 13% of the country. We don't own 13% of the businesses. We don't own 13% of the ability of the resources to produce things. And this was set up by design. And that goes to the fact that every other ethnicity in America has the same numbering scenario too. That people don't own as much as their group is. That goes for Hispanics, that goes for Asians, that goes, if you want Arabs, if they count as whatever they want to count, it goes the same way for everybody else. So who does playing by the book work for is my question. And Chaos, you can answer that, then Jay, then I'll be out. So Chaos, if you're there, unmute yourself. If you're not, we'll just go to Jay. Okay, Jay, Who does playing by the book work for in America?
Okay, first and foremost, we've never spoken before, so I don't particularly care for the insinuation of childishness, sir. You know, I mean, it's all good. I understand this is your show, this is your channel. I get it, and
Hold
please,
on, Jay. Hold on. This is what I mean. I was talking about him dissing you, and then
that's what I was upset about.
So exactly what I was talking about was childish. I didn't call you childish.
True enough, but okay. So when I first got on, I talked about the Attorney General. Yes, it is through the military, but once again, it is playing by the book. Though all of those that 13% of the military, they're playing well for the most part. Trust. There's a lot of people in all of these spaces. There's tons of quote unquote black people. Now, if you get into our subcategories, as far as how many of them are actual descendants of this nation and of its super traumatic past that a lot of people like to lean on, I think that that's a completely different but necessary discussion in and of itself.
What do you mean?
Well, the deal is that after the signing of the Civil Rights Act, there was, I think, the Homestead Act or something like that, where they started bringing in people from, black and brown countries and having. You tell me, hold on.
No. I was saying my bad. The mic, he super chatted. So go ahead.
Yeah, they were bringing in people from black and brown countries who came in. Some assimilated, some didn't, and when we're kind of just drawn to just wrap everybody together as quote unquote black. But there's so many subcategories that go into what one would call blackness. And there's a gigantic distinction from, let's say, a descendant, such as myself, and somebody whose family and whose history and whose blood was spilt on this nation, building it up to what it's become, as opposed to, let's say, a Joy Reid, who's a first generation from XYZ, who doesn't particularly have that history in her blood so thusly. She's basically a face to exploit that history. So when you got organizations out there such as Black Lives Matter screaming, "Oh my goodness, Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter," it's been 400 years and all this other stuff. It's just like, dude, you're exploiting this for your own nefarious means and gains, and that's where I tend to take issue with, because it's like, hey, look.
Hold on, Jay. Hold on, because I remember. So you okay, from the Homestead Act, you take issue with people claiming to be black for benefits.
No, because that's the thing. That was signed so long ago, right? Like back in the there was a really
no. Hold on. Just hear me out, because I'm trying to respond to you real quick. It is your issue. Other people who are black, who are non-black or minorities or immigrants, is part of the issue that they can claim benefits from black people because of the Homestead Act.
You know what? No, that's not it. The benefits, I really don't care. It's government money. Who gives a shit? What I care about is when they use the history of the country in order to push this agenda that they clearly have. And that agenda has, when it comes to what they like to call cis heterosexual black men, it's not for us, guy. Like the Oprahs and the Sean Kings and the Billy Porters and the Dwayne Wades and all that other stuff.
Hold that thought. Hold it. I'm about to get to your RBR. Just hold that thought. But I want to respond to something you just said. My thing is, I get that. I don't agree with that. But my question is about playing by the book. Didn't white people do the very same thing to beef up their numbers in America? Let me claim, because at first it was British, French, Spanish per se. That was white. Then it evolved into Irish wasn't white, Italian wasn't white. Then they got morphed into being white. Then it morphed into the Jews, and the Jews were white already, but now the Jews are white too. Then it morphed into, bring your sick, bring your poor, blah, 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 blah. All of these people are white now. So now all of their issues combined. See, this is my Jewish issue, which is a white issue. This is my Italian issue, which is a white issue. This is my Irish issue, which is a white issue. This is my Slovenian issue, which is a white issue. You get what I'm saying?
I think that they have more respect between their issues, though. Like a Jewish person and an Italian person, they recognize that, yeah, that's an Italian issue, that's a Jewish issue. Whereas opposed here, when we on the black side of things, it's just like, oh, well, it's all black, and the deal is that we don't respect that. Yeah, the descendants have a different point and agenda than, like, let's say the Jamaican immigrants or the Dominican immigrants or the dark skinned Dominican immigrants, because the light skinned Dominican immigrants want to run around talking about how they Puerto Rican. So the deal.
But I get what you're saying, but do you understand that those groups, though you say they respect their issues, they use their issues for other people's benefits.
But they're also using our issues for other people's benefits and negating it. And they've been doing that since like the 70s.
So you are also saying that these other groups of people did things that exact same way, but it kind of worked for them. But if we do that,
they work together, but within their own cells.
They don't work together. They work they work in a group, but they don't work together.
Okay. They work in a group, but then they all break off into their own little separate cells. I'll put it to you like that. All right, and the deal is that group, that what a lot of commentators are calling, the white supremacists and everything else like that. I mean, it's not really a group. It's been, once again, that same agenda that has knocked out the quote unquote cis heterosexual black man out of our communities and out of a lot of these kids' lives, man. I just got finished doing this video. Oh, sorry.
Hold on. We go to RBR. I get it. We gonna continue. I got time today, just to do stuff. Like, RBR, do you think? No, just to have a because normally I don't do that. About an hour I'm out.
I'm sorry. My bad.
RBR, do you think if we can play by the book just like everybody else?
Yes, I think we could play by the book better than everybody else because we created the system. The system was created by Africans. I was telling Irene Yvette today that the African civilization was created not for the Nazis. It was created by Africans for Africans because that was the only civilization that we knew. Also, it was the only kind of civilization that we knew worked. So when we made African civilizations in Asia, and we made African civilizations in Europe, and we made African civilizations in North America, we weren't making those African civilizations to hurt white people. We were making those African civilizations because that was the only civilization that we knew how to make and we knew how to work. Now, your original question was, name how black people were helped by going by the book. Well, we have 94.3% of black people in this country are in the middle class as of the 2010 and 2020 census. Now, you always talk about wealth. Yvette Carnell and the Russian agents always talk about wealth. Let's talk about spending. We are the only group in America that spends $1.3 trillion a year. Whites don't do it. Asians don't do it. Mexicans don't do it. We spend more money on this planet than, on this planet, I guess, black people, than any other group on earth, African American. You trying to tell me that doesn't work? Why? Because 94.3% of blacks have $1.3 trillion, whereas families control 90% of all white wealth. 1%.
Hold on for 1 second on that. When you say we spend more money, you're talking about the population of us, right? As a collective.
Yes.
So when you talk about other groups don't spend that, when we think about the American government or other communities, we don't take their expenditures. You're saying we spend $1.3 trillion on frivolous stuff, or you're just saying we spend, other groups spend less money on frivolous stuff?
No, it's just spending altogether. And see, here's the difference.
We don't have more money than anybody else. So we can't spend more than everybody else when they have more money.
That's not true. See, you can't have money and spend it too. You either have money and keep it in the Cayman Islands or under the mattress, or you have 1.3 trillion. We probably have about $2 trillion. We spend 1.3 trillion. We spend it every year, clockwork. And that's the people that save their money, the top 1%. They'll say that's a bad thing. But how do you think they got their money?
They're the top 1%. The vast majority of the
white.
99% of people, they don't have money in their Cayman Islands. They don't have money under their mattress.
That's my point. That's the point I'm making. You're making my point. We have $1.2 trillion every year that gets in here. How is that better to have 1% of the people, Trump and Putin, to have all the money, and 99% of white people have welfare and food stamps? So my point that our African civilization is better than theirs. Look at our population. We got 1.4 billion black people.
Wait, RBR. Wait.
Billion Jews.
I don't. Wait. Please.
1.4 billion Asians.
Hold on. I'm specific about this. No disrespect to Africa, no disrespect to Africans, but I'm talking about Black Americans.
I know.
We have a different set of circumstances.
You're talking about Africans. You don't know African Americans or Africans.
Say that again.
No, I said you're talking about Africans, but you didn't know that African Americans were Africans.
No, that's not what I said. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is it's a different. We're not in Africa. We're not in Africa prior to slavery. We're in America. So
right.
the African book is not a book that is used in America.
Well, see, here's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
L.A.R, the African is in you. The Africa is in your DNA.
I get that, but I'm not talking about a metaphysical type of thing. I'm talking about
it's not. Why would you think that? So you don't think that the Nazi is in Trump? You don't think that the Ku Klux Klan is in David Duke? Come on, man. So we are.
All right. I'm back. Larry, this is what happens when you bring crazy people up here, man. They divorce the whole conversation. We on some other shit. I don't know what the fuck this motherfucker talking about. But I'll say this: we in America, we deal with American problems.
Right now, pushing your channel, L.A.R, to push his national.
We in America, man. We deal with the problems in America.
Hold up. God damn, dog. I understand what y'all are saying, but I'm trying to be specific to this. When I said metaphysical, I mean this is a actual practical problem, that we got practical issues that need practical solutions. I don't want to go into the weeds. I'm not trying to do that for a reason, because it changes the dynamic of the conversation. So, that's my issue with this stuff. My bad.
Oh, God.
I was talking, and then Chaos Rain came in and scared the truth. All I'm saying is the question you asked was whether or not the Marxist system of government, where 1% of whites control 100% of the wealth and the resources, is better than 94.3% of blacks controlling 94.3% of the wealth and the resources in the black community. I say yes, because 94.3% of black people with $1.3 trillion to spend is better than 1% of white people who spend $1.32 million. So 1.3 million is better than 1.3 trillion is better than 1.3 million. So
hold on, RBI.
They're Nazi.
Hold on. Do you actually believe that? Because it seems like when they say middle class, we talk about the cost of living. The middle class has been relegated to like the 30s, 40s, 50s, and maybe 60s, without the cost of living up to date and inflation. The middle class of the past is not the same middle class of today.
It is. They adjust for inflation. So it is. The median income. Hold on. You're making a good point. He's making a point. You're making a good point. So the key is, okay, we're at 40 now. We're at $40,000 for an income, and everybody's saying that ain't shit. It ain't. But if you have a wife, if you have a mate, if you have your mother, if you have your grandmother, and each one is getting $40,000, then you're looking at $80,000 to $100,000+. You're middle class. You don't qualify for welfare. You don't qualify for food stamps. Why is that so bad? So you would rather have 40 million black people, right?
Hold on, RBR. Stop right there. I'm gonna ask you, Jay. You said you're in Jersey, right?
Yes, sir.
Where you at, RBR? If you don't mind me asking. You in L.A.?
Yeah, Koreatown.
Okay. In Chaos, I know you on the East Coast.
Yes, I'm in the East Coast. Yes.
$80,000. How is $80,000 make you middle class in LA right now? First, RBR.
No, actually, it's not. No, it's not. No.
Hold on. I said RBR, not you, Chaos. RBR. Does 80,000 make you middle class in LA?
Now let's preface it with the facts. The USDA administers and the U.S. Census decides who's middle class and who's not. Middle class, the median income for middle class is $40,000. If you're making $40,000, you don't qualify for food stamps or any welfare or anything like that. You're considered middle class. Now, what I'm saying is, no, not nationally. Well, it could be nationally. Yeah, it could be nationally. But what we're talking about is just having a family, which would mean two adults making $40,000 each. That's $80,000. And I know,
but I was specific. I was
specific. So you could say that I don't feel middle class. I don't have $1 million. But come on, man.
No, I'm not. Whoa, time out. RBR. I'm not. Here's the thing. I am not here trying to make insinuations or shady disses and all that other BS. I'm asking these questions for a reason. Okay. I know people in LA, and $80,000 is a good salary, but it will probably go a long way in a different city.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But then you wouldn't be able to make $80,000 in that city, so it'd be a waste of time. But let me ask you the question, and when we can move the discussion forward. Would you rather have 40 million black people with $1.3 trillion, or would you rather have 400 black people with Oprah's money?
My bad. Hold on, let me get Chaos in here. If I rather have 40 million black people
with 1.3 trillion to spend, not saving under the mattress and shit, but to spend, circulating in the economy 7 times, or 400 rich families that have Oprah's money and everybody else is starving like Marvin. So
that's what's going on right now, though.
That's what's going on with white people. That ain't what's going on with black people. Oprah and them.
I'm gonna give back to you, Jay, because this is the part of my issue about even the playing by the book part is the financial part of it. It's because it's America, it's capitalism. It all comes down to money.
Yeah, amen.
So,
but so you're saying,
let me talk to Jay real quick. Let me talk to Jay about
one black person had all the money. You take that over 40 million black people having all the money. Okay.
No, I'm not talking in extremes. What I'm saying is what I'm really been saying flat out is that at the end of the day, you're talking about the middle class. Can $80,000 put you in the middle class? Maybe in Jersey, but in New York.
In New York, yeah. I mean, that's actually, that's 80,000. But that's the thing. Here's the fun part about all of this, because 80,000 is a pipe dream for many people. See, we switched from a manufacturing and production based economy to a gig economy. And so you have a whole bunch of people out here making, doing the per hour thing. I mean, I like to think we've all done it at some point.
Let me be more specific. My bad. Because I want to add on to what you're saying. Because of America's setup, because $80,000 can make you middle class, as you say, in the East Coast. But where exactly would you live?
What, on 80,000 a year? That depends on how much I have saved up for the house, and definitely not in Jersey. Probably Pennsylvania. They have lower taxes because the tax, like the price, the house prices, okay, but the taxes is where they really butt smash you here in New Jersey, guys.
This is why I'm talking about this part of it, because at the end of the day, guess what's going to happen? You could be middle class, but you can't. But because most people I know, even on the East and West Coast, they make a good amount of money. The vast majority of them don't have a home.
Why would they?
People are leaving, and in the major cities in particular,
Oh
New
yeah,
York, LA, Chicago. I think Miami is overpriced to this point. I know DC is like that. You know, the vast
well, yeah.
majority, like, you're not going to get land or home nowadays in certain places making 80,000, even though it's good enough money to buy it, you won't be able to sustain it.
Well, you can't even get a storefront like, if you have that kind of money coming in, because the cost of living is it's ridiculously high here. Like, yeah, you could be making $80,000 a year, but the deal is that due to the way that the economy is set up, most people aren't. Most people are like, I did a video once on that $15 an hour situation where they're like, oh, yeah, let's the fight for 15 and all that nonsense. I'm pretty sure you guys must remember that. Deal is that if somebody's making $15 an hour and they work a full 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, that's like 32 grand, and that's before taxes. So that's like less than that's like 28 grand. And right now we have people saying here like really making miracles happen on $10 an hour, on $8 an hour, on $7 an hour. So like the way that the system's been structured, it's really antiquated in a lot of ways.
Hold up. Stay right there. Hold on for 1 second. This is part of my issue. Go ahead. Go for it,
Chaos. Let's look at this holistically. In America now, let's say they start pushing the $15 and then these corporations start saying, we're going to lay off because we can't pay that. Because as long as people working for somebody that's protected by a corporation and by the government, you're always going to be under, because the system now, as we see it now, the middle class was just a temporary creation that started in the 40s. It was not something supposed to be where this is the walks of life in America. Because throughout all world history, there is a upper and there is a lower. What you see now, you're going to see so much of drastic change in this country that you're going to see we're going to return back where we were back in the first Great Depression. But it's going to be a little bit harder and worse now because we have technology now and people, So how people move right in this economy now, it's going to solely determine on what they want out of this, because 30K, 50K, 80K, depending which state you're in. Yeah, you could be comfortable maybe by yourself if you know how to finance yourself. But if you don't know none of those knowledge, then obviously you're only living under the poverty level right now. And I've seen some people I've seen some people that have few kids and it's probably making less that figure it out. You know what I'm saying? But in America today, you need 2 incomes, and depending what you or her doing is going to determine how y'all gonna survive in this so-called digitalized economy in America. That's just my thought.
All right, no, I hear what he's saying. He's making a good point. I wanted to push back though. Okay, now here's the issue. Where do the billionaires come from? Do they come from the middle class? Do they come from the motherfuckers sleeping in their car underneath the bridge? Where does the upper middle class and the billionaire class and the millionaire class, what class do they come from?
Exactly.
Billionaire class comes from the upper class.
The
The millionaire class in America comes pretty much from the lower to middle class.
Okay, not even much more so the middle than the lower. Niggas like coming out of North Carolina, you ain't take. Mark Zuckerberg said they offered him $10 million for Facebook when he was a freshman in college.
Where was he in college?
The state of North Carolina offered him $10 million for Facebook.
I think he was talking about Jordan when he talking about North Carolina. Zuckerberg was at
Mark Zuckerberg came from Harvard. He dropped out of Harvard. He's from Harvard.
Yeah. That's the point. When they offered him $10 million for Facebook, he told him to go to hell. When they offered Jordan $100,000 for the Air Jordan shoe, he said, come on with it.
Who offered him the $10 million for Facebook?
Time out. 1 second. Ariel, historically, Michael Jordan wanted to sign with either Adidas, Converse, or Puma. They didn't have a shoe for him, so he went to Nike. It wasn't really about the money. He was going for the name and the stardom. The shoe blew up after that. He was in the NBA when that happened.
I know, but he was broke. He came out of college. How much money you think he had?
Ariel, you know
college. He was Michael Jordan, but he
Yeah,
wasn't
but guess what?
Jordan.
If you're making close to $1 million in 1983 or 84, you good.
Yeah,
If
fantastic.
you forgot about Michael Jordan, when he
Doing
first moved to
great.
Chicago, he lived in an apartment and lived like he was when he was in college. It was an apartment or a townhome or something. He wasn't all this. Here's my issue, and I'm gonna say this, and sorry about this, and move a little bit more forward. We need to stop romanticizing history, because everybody who's 21, 22 is not making these Jeff Bezos at 45 decisions.
Church.
Yeah, and
Because if you're going to be true about it, Nike wasn't really popping then when he did.
Exactly.
Because they looked for somebody else to be the face, but he didn't do it.
Right, but here's the point. He was focused on how broke he was. So
No, he was not. That's just a narrative.
See, this is what we don't understand, because we haven't experienced it. When he was in college, right? Now, let alone his family living in North Carolina, broke as a fucking thing. But when he was in college, he didn't have it like that. You ain't got it. You ain't got no $1 million contract in college. Even though more.
Wait, you've been to college?
I went to college.
Okay. I didn't have. No. You know that most college students, 99% of college students are broke.
So was Jordan.
Okay, so why would you also magically say the moves he made? Because if you know something else about college, you know the athletes live a whole different life than the regular students.
Yeah, but
this guy went to a school that could send you around the world for what he did. Mm-hmm. He had a different experience. He also was in the Olympics.
They couldn't pay him. It was illegal. They couldn't pay him.
They ain't paying nobody. It just became legal to pay students this year.
I know. So here's my point between him and Zuckerberg. Zuckerberg didn't need the money. Jordan did. So he took.
Who offered Zuckerberg that money again?
They won't tell us, but I probably was Apple.
Okay. I thought you initially said that the government offered it. I'm like, what?
No, not the government. It was some rich company.
They do that with most startup businesses. They do that with most startup businesses. It's not one startup business that starts moving that somebody does not come up to and say, "Hey, we can offer you this amount to take it over."
Yeah, they sold YouTube for $65 million. $billion. YouTube, $80 billion company. They sold $165 million.
Go for it, Jay. You got it.
So, seeing how we're talking about business acquisitions, right? And a lot of urban spaces during the where we had the stores back in the 60s and 70s. There's a lot of people who just straight up sold their businesses due to folks coming in, whether or not they had curly cues on the side. That's for another discussion. But there's a lot of folks that came into a lot of these urban spaces and just brought the properties and brought the businesses. And when we sit in here and we look around and we talk about generational wealth and all the money that Black people spend, it's like, well, there wasn't a lot of foresight in those businesses, because when it comes to these companies coming and buying something from you, like if they're willing to spend 500 million on it, then it has to be worth $3 billion. You get what I'm saying? And that's what happened in a lot of cases.
I get what you're saying. That's part of the story. This is part of the issue. This is part of my thing about history, about Black American history in particular, and how we gloss over the whole part. What about eminent domain?
Yeah, it's been used to
that was used in the 60s
over.
That was used in the 60s too.
Yeah. Without question.
So
but
when
I saw that for my. But here's the difference between eminent domain and the businesses just selling themselves. I actually witnessed the businesses selling themselves because I grew up in a Black community.
Okay. Now, hold up. Run the whole train of logic though.
You said run the whole train of logic?
Yeah, run the whole train of logic. Because look, I do know there are people who just sold it because they didn't want it no more, right?
Yeah.
There are also people who we already know the freeway situation. You were forced out. The freeway, the eminent domain. Then we got the situation with, you know what? what's going to happen is if you don't sell us this business, you see how we took this one, we'll figure out a way to take yours.
I mean, when it comes to extortion and mafioso type tactics, guy, I'm from Jersey.
So, but see, that's the point. Like, using you as an example, Jay, that's the point. You know the tactics, and you didn't even say them when it was time to talk about how the businesses were broken up. This is what I mean by can Black America play by the same book? Because can we do that exact same thing in this country and be able to wind up with a business class 30 years later?
Well, here's the terrible reality of it is that we do have a business class. Everyone's sitting there screaming about black business, black business, black business.
Jay,
but I like to think that we kind of evolved to a point where like we and it sucks that they have this reputation, but you know, black businesses, the customer service, man. Like the customer service in the hood is just like,
here's the irony. Here's the irony about the customer service at Black business. Yeah, you can get a bad rap for that. But the flip side about that is you could get bad customer services at white businesses. And
no doubt. Back. No doubt.
So how can you? So this is not for you. Wait, this is not for you specifically. Okay. This is a black problem where the black businesses they got problems. But when they white business was notoriously known for spitting in your food if you was black. They were notoriously known for fucking up your orders. But you know what? I'm going to this place, and so what? They treat me bad.
Yeah, it's the franchise.
No, it's not the franchise. It's the people.
That's the thing, though. I mean, like, you're 100% correct. It is the people, but at the same time, like remember the rep Denny's used to have? Like, man, Denny's is just like super racist place. Where Big Boys, they used to really have that rep as well. But the deal is that every interaction, every situation that you enter is completely different. And so, like,
hold on. You sums up with your volume, like you low kind of bored. I can hear you, but you super low right now.
Hold on, let me see. Is this better?
Not really.
Not much better?
No. I'm gonna just we'll figure it out. RBR, what you got to say about that?
Yeah, and well, I want to say that.
Hold up, RBR, my bad. Chaos. If you got anything to say, my bad, because he was muted this whole time. All right. Well,
I would say, you hear me? With business and regard to commerce, we got to understand it's clear. Customer service is the number one priority because it's going to survive or fail. A lot of us as people that engage in business, we don't know that's the first rule of any business. How well is your customer service, your interaction with people, whether physical or digitally? This is why a lot of black business really fail. Not only because you're already black and you already shoot yourself in the 8-ball, but how well is your customer service? If your customer service is lousy, no one's going to do business with you, period. Well, a lot of black people, because they feel that our black business and black you should support regardless, that right there, you are very much ill-educated on how business works. I've seen some black business that survive. Not a lot, but I see a good lot of them fail. Because the number one thing that leads to failure is how well you deal with customers. And because we have a certain propensity of self-hatred with each other, we don't see us as value as not only brothers and sisters, but as a commodity to each other. So if you have a restaurant business and you have poor stores, really poor service, no one's going to eat from you, period. And other people are going to talk to you, talk about your service.
Hold on.
So one of the few things, let me finish. So one of the few things, if black people are going to really establish any business, they always got to understand that number one rule, the customer has to be not only always right, but they're the number one priority. Because they're the only ones that's going to sustain and keep your business afloat. If you can't get through that, now it's how much we don't get in business at all. Because other cultures, whether they're good or not, they know the importance of customer service. Oh, all right. So,
Church.
I was saying that. I was going to say that I understand that black people have a reputation of treating black customers and businesses like you guys treat me. They resent black people. Well, no, it's real. They resent black people who are not reciting the party line. The notion that white people would have a Marxist business model where 1% of the population controls 100% of the wealth and resources of that population. And black people have a democratic merit-based democracy where 94.3% of black people control 94.3% of black wealth. And we think that's bad. We want the Nazi model. We want the Ku Klux Klan Marxist model instead of an African model where we have 1.3 billion people and everybody's in the middle class. We think the problem with black people being in the middle class, we'd rather have 1 or 2 billionaires and everybody else starve to death. And that's crazy.
I'm gonna make a statement real quick. You got it, Jay. Go for it.
I'm just gonna say you do realize that Africans sold our ancestors, right? Like we weren't stolen from Africa.
I understand why people said that. I understand why
Africans
people said
sold
that.
us
You
to
realize you
white folks
lied.
and put us over here. So it's not.
You believe
No,
the lie.
because can't nobody hear him.
Say that again.
No, I said, RBR, don't cut him off. Can't nobody hear what he was saying.
Come on, nobody can hear the lie. Don't cut him off.
How's that a lie?
I'm not with the bullshit.
It's a lie because it's not true. Now
How is it not true?
Well, here's
They
the
were
truth.
at war.
Well, here's the truth. They weren't at war with the white America. They didn't even know white
African
America.
tribes were at war with each other.
I know. Now think about that.
And they sold usurpers.
I said, would you think? How did they get to 1.3 billion people in Africa if they all became slaves and they all killed each other? How did
Yeah, you can't steal that many people.
Hold on.
It's a lie. Now here's what happened.
Hold on.
Let me say this, and then you can say whatever you want to say. Let me say this. There are still 1.3 billion people in Africa have been there their whole generation, their whole families.
Yo, this is my channel, man. Don't tell me what you're gonna say and then I can talk. If you'd have said that in my house, we would have had a problem. I understand, that certain things I don't do. And that is one of them. You don't know me like that, and I understand that. Don't do that no more. Don't tell me when you're gonna let me talk my own stuff. Like, that's not cool, man. This becomes the problem.
Okay. Well, I understand that there's people that want to use this site to push their white nationalist bullshit. But I'm just saying that we can have a little bit of truth. It wouldn't kill us. And the truth is, African people never sold other African people. When we had a tribal warfare in Africa and you captured somebody, they became your tribe. They became part of your family. They could become president. When white people captured you, they made slaves out you, took you to North America, and made you work for free, and treated you like shit for 500 years. That didn't happen in Africa. That's just like same old bullshit about white people getting killed because they black. It's bullshit.
I'm gonna say this, so Jay. Unfortunately, RBR, what you're saying is true, and what Jay is saying is true. Both of those things did happen. You had people who were sucked into a tribe because of warfare, and you had people who actually actively sold people because of warfare.
That would be the white Arabs. That would have been the white people.
Okay, you won't believe that.
No, let me say this. Now think about this for a minute, Lar. Say you have a family and you got 50 people in your family.
RBR, I know history very well.
I understand it. I know you know his story. But let me tell you the truth. I want you to think about something. Okay, so say you had 50 people in your family. And you were in Africa, right? Now let's say 25 had committed a crime and they were being captured and held by another tribe because they did something. Your family, your brother, your cousin, they committed a crime, they went to jail. Now, when they got out of jail, they were free to go. But the slave master said, well, shit, don't let them go. Let them to us. So when their time is up, instead of letting them go and becoming president, why don't you give them to us and we'll sell them into slavery? That's what happened, Lar. Now, even though he was your brother, he was sold into slavery because he committed a crime and ended up in jail, whereas you didn't do shit, even though that's your brother. So how could you say, you're going to say, Lar sold his brother into slavery? No, you didn't.
Even under your...
You had to be
RBR.
You didn't slavery.
RBR, even under your scenario, that means you sold your brother to a slave trader who sold them into slavery. You knew that already existed.
No,
So
you went to jail.
you sold them into slavery.
How would
Even
you
with
know?
that logic.
Well, no. Tell me, how would you know if you were a jailer, right? Somebody stole something, and
Still,
you said, okay, you got to do 5 years.
I can answer that specific question
No,
very
I'm
easily.
asking the question.
I'm about to ask
How did they know that
because
they were doing
people
something? How did they know?
easily.
How? Just
Shut
tell
the
me.
fuck up, so I can tip, nigga. Get the fuck out of here. You keep playing. Get the fuck. Go. The fuck with that bullshit. You
Yeah,
know
they're
because
champ.
people have a reputation for doing it. Fuck.
What happened? I just stepped away. I'll be like, God, wait, he said something offensive, man. You kick him out?
He didn't. He
You
didn't.
just wouldn't shut the fuck up.
Hey, bye.
Oh.
I'm not that bullshit. Nigga.
That's why I told you there, you can't be up on people's panels, man. I told him I kicked him off on Mary's panel a week ago because I just don't like this talk.
Shit. If you want to answer, I'm trying to answer you, and you keep cutting me off. Fuck you. I ain't got time for that stupid shit. Because you don't want to answer, you just want to argue. Fuck it. Argue at what you goddamn self. My bad, y'all. But here's the thing. And I'm get back to what this is really fucking about. Can we play by the book? Because if we do the very same thing that people are saying, okay, go to school, get an education, start a business, X, Y, Z, and it'll work out properly. Does that work for us when we do? Has that historically worked for us when we do?
I've seen it.
No. The only thing that black people really have to do is do something different. I did it. Now, doing the basic things like that, that's just to get up and running. But overall, we got to do something different. Doing just the same old thing, and none of us are doing it, you're not going to get a different result, especially in this Western hemisphere. So right now, the next step black people do is try to network with other like minds and people from all across the globe as possible if you want to change the result. But that's just my opinion. Yeah.
Jay, you said you've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I see people open businesses all the time. I see people running businesses like often. And once again, like I said, the whole attorney general thing. I think that's a pretty high benchmark.
Wait. Now you know this whole time, Eric Holder's not the attorney general no more.
No, it's another guy. What's his name?
White dude.
No, it's not. The current attorney general is not a United States attorney general. What the heck is his name? He's a bald brother. They had him out there during the CV situation, man. Him and that one reporter chick from CNN. What's her name? The light skinned chick from CNN. They got into a bit of a back and forth about their blackness. I cannot remember Lamont.
The current attorney general is William Barr.
Okay.
United States Attorney General is William Barr.
I'm sorry, Surgeon General.
Got you.
Surgeon General Jerome McAdams or something like that.
All right.
You get what I'm saying? It's like the same level.
No. The reason I'm saying you agree that it can happen.
Yeah.
So what percentage have you seen it in? Has this been a majority or minority? Is what I'm asking.
I gotta say that a lot of it really depends on the life choices that people make for themselves. You know, yeah, I mean, if you're driven towards it and you have I gotta say, first and foremost, it does come down to the environment and the situation that one's born into. Because I mean, I'm sorry, but you're far less likely to get a future president coming from a Cardi B fan than than some chick out in some home fed white chick out in Iowa. All right, like that. Like the environments that people come up in is important, but for the most part,
wait right there for me, please, because your point is your environment matters. Yeah. So in America, your environment matters.
Everywhere. I mean,
we're specifically talking about America, though.
But I mean, if you want to specifically talk about America, yeah. I mean,
so crucially, has the Black American environment been conducive to success in America?
Fuck no. No. And they've been doing that in the media since the 70s, man. They've been
the farthest you can go back into the 70s?
No, we can go back further, but my whole deal is that after the signing of the Civil Rights Act, we're talking about the drug war. We're talking about through the music and media portrayals, like Oprah deciding that she was just going to throw us quote unquote cis heterosexual black men under the bus. Yeah, like all of the there was just things put in motion that really poisoned our communities, and they
okay, so hold up.
the welfare state.
I'm trying to go somewhere with this. You could go against it if you want to. But this is part of the conversation.
Shoot.
So if that's what you're saying, the people who put these things in motion, were they playing by the book when they put these things in motion?
They wrote the book that put these things in motion. They were writing the book. I mean, and it wasn't just white people; it was the black people, it's the elected officials of these areas.
Whoa.
Yeah,
the black people did what exactly?
They actually played a hand. Particularly, the women played a hand in getting our communities to exactly where they are right now, with the overabundance of fatherlessness and a whole ton of misdirection. I mean,
okay. Did the black people have a hand in the government with the drugs? Did the black people have a hand with the eminent domain? Did the black people have a hand? You get what I'm saying?
Drugs, yes.
So we had a hand in the drugs.
Yeah, I mean, sure. I mean, you got to use it. You got to sell it. I mean, like everybody's had a role.
Whoa. I'm talking about the implementation of getting it. Black people sitting at the table saying, you know what we're going to do is we're going to go to this country, we're going to pick up some heroin, and we're going to ship it, and we're going to put it in America, and we're going to predominantly put it in the black community.
You see what happened? Okay, give me a moment. All right, because I hear chaos getting real pissed. What happened was after like in the 80s, they started dismantling a lot of the prominent and profitable work in these areas, through union busting. And I know a lot, trust me, I get it. Black people in unions, I know, but the deal is that there were still a few in unions. There was a pathway towards a middle class lifestyle, where you can have a house and you can raise a family, what have you, and all this other fun stuff. But during that time, particularly, like let's say as soon as the 80s hit and Reagan's war on drugs really got going, it exploded. And it's really
wait. I'm sorry, Jay. What age group are you in, fam?
I'm 38.
So I'm only 2 years older than you. You talking about the 80s. You know about what about the things that happened in the 70s and 60s and the 50s? Because I'm sure you know about those things because you had family.
Oh, no doubt. But they're just not my concern because I wasn't here for them. I've been here for this. I've watched this. I watched the government throw the L.A.R program into our communities in one of the greatest reverse psychology schemes ever to exist. I watched them take the fathers away from their kids and encourage these young women to get on the welfare state. And you don't need no man, girl. And oh my goodness, let's interview Mike Tyson and make him look completely terrible. Oh, black women, they need to be protected. We have to create this gigantic plantation, this bureaucratic plantation. We have to create these family services, which are completely antithetical to the family. We have been systematically targeted and taken down, brother.
Here's the issue with that, though. I hear everything you said, but if you know anything about history, you don't just start at one point and eliminate what happens and what happened prior to it. All of these things, one thing led to another, which led to another. I understand we can't go all the way back and reverse all aspects of time, but what I don't understand about this is, if that's the case, and you want to start from the 80s.
Well, 60s, if you want. That's when feminism really was a problem.
But
white girls selling black women.
Can Black America win playing by?
Actually, feminism really comes separate to.
At some point, are you? And I'm gonna cut through all the BS. Are you saying that this whole situation that we're in right now is all on us?
Yeah.
It started because of us, and we are the ones contributing to it ourselves.
Yeah. We have to own it.
Nobody else contributed to this. Nobody else started.
I never said nobody else contributed to it, but I do think that there is a level of ownership and accountability that we are way past due.
Okay, that's fine. This is what I mean by playing by the book. If we have to accept a certain level of accountability, are we the only people that have to?
I can't hear you.
Are we the only people that have to accept a certain level of accountability?
Well, I mean, if you look at all these BLM riots,
not right.
Accountability, huh? They're drowning in their white guilt
Okay.
to the point where they're trying to burn federal buildings. Like that's the thing. It does have to come start and end with us. We can't keep looking for like outside sources to do things for us. Like that movie that's coming out.
I'm not talking about outside sources helping us fix stuff. If we do the exact same thing all of these outside sources do, will they get in the way to make sure it's not successful?
Hold on, let me chew on that for a second, because you're okay. So like you're asking me, will like, because it's such a broad and grand scheme, not scheme, but just like quote unquote Black America. It's so broad.
Okay. Since it's broad, I'm gonna make it I'm gonna break it down specifically.
Thanks. Whittle.
If you say education is key, right?
Okay.
And you start to send and Black kids go to school. We've already had this happen. And they go to school and get an education and they do the best that they can. Will the teachers who are non-Black try to hold those kids back?
Okay. L.A.R. I went to a Black school. Trust me, a lot of these kids, the home life is so jacked up that by the time the teachers get their hand on them, like, what are they supposed to do? They ducking for their own lives, man.
So you've never run into teachers who held smart kids back?
No, I mean, I was a pretty smart kid, and my teachers, they were like, no, they encouraged it.
You went to college, and you never ran into a professor that held smart Black kids back. Oh, and what I mean by held them back, I don't mean make sure they didn't graduate a grade. I mean fudge with
just been a dick.
Not just been a dick. Mess with their grades. If they earned an A, they didn't get an A. They got sent to detention numerous times, even though they weren't doing anything wrong.
In college?
Oh, come on now. I'm talking from grade school to college. There's no detention in college.
Wow. That's like 12 years, dude. Like, here's the thing. Once again, if you wowed out, and a lot of my classmates did, you were disciplined.
What about your classmates that didn't?
Then they were fine.
So all your classmates who were just smart kids trying to be smart, they had no issues.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, like that's the thing. I wasn't like, with them on the grade stuff. We'd be talking about other things, sports and stuff like that. As far as like, them having any issues with a teacher, it'd be something that they'd be hammering out amongst themselves. I can't really speak to that.
Well, I went to school on the East Coast, the South, and the Midwest. That's not how it went down. My kids in school right now. That's not how it goes down. Okay. Every person I run into, that's not how it went down. My parents and grandparents, that's not how it went down. Their parents, I take that back, because my grandfather dropped out of school like third or fifth grade to help support the family, because it was a different society.
Of course.
But once school started, it wasn't like that. So I'm gonna do it in a different way. When it comes to let's say STEM employment, just employment opportunity. Is there when you're doing your job, you're doing it the right way and by the book? Is there a glass ceiling if you're Black and you're playing by the book?
It depends on the job. I mean, like, there's not many. Like, let's say, you're working at Target or something like that. I mean, yeah, there's like manager and stuff like that, but I mean, like usually they hire like college graduates for those positions. So yeah, there's a ceiling, and that's the thing. It's not really a color thing. It's a socio-economic thing more than the color situation.
So Black people say it's a glass ceiling. Do Asian people say there's a bamboo ceiling?
Of course not. Come on, man.
Obviously, you ain't.
They do fantastic.
No. Do they use the term? There's a bamboo ceiling.
A bamboo ceiling?
Yes.
Holy shit! I didn't even know that term existed. I guess not. I haven't heard them.
Yes.
Wait, so is the
They say
bamboo
the same
Africa or
exact
the bamboo?
thing.
Huh?
I mean, look it up. Just Google it. Google bamboo ceiling. I guarantee you, what's gonna pop up is an Asian term from only being able to go so high in the upper ranks of society.
Oh yeah, but I'm not Asian, so I don't give a shit.
But
I'm sorry, like not to be a jerk, just like
yeah, but if you can't see
them
with your,
over there,
yeah,
and
but if you can't see with your own fam and you can't see it with others, maybe you just can't see it.
no, but here's the thing, but maybe, but is it not being able to see it, or is it because maybe it's not there? I mean, we live in a different time, like where it's like, hey, if like I was saying earlier, to the point that I was trying to make earlier, is that like the upbringing someone has is so much more important, it seems, than than any particular skin color, particularly with whatever it is that they decide that they want to do with their life. And a lot of that requires a level of stability at the home level for that individual to be able to to have stability in order to be able to feel safe in order to pursue whatever it is that they want to desire. But now we live in this age where like the state has completely lost its mind. I mean, here in Jersey, they have eighth graders learning about butt stuff, and it's like, dude, like they're trying to turn everything alphabetical, my guy, and it's because we've leaned on these same people who we claim to hate us and not like us to teach our children, to basically raise us through media portrayals and the school system and everything else like that. Am I making sense?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Go ahead.
No. One request. I'm gonna let you guys continue. You can make me a mod on your channel for a second, L.A.R.
You're not a
I know
mod?
you don't mind most people. No, I'm not.
Shit, holy crap! We've been at this for like.
I'll put some in the chat room. All right, continue, guys.
Okay.
I gotta book it. Like, there's some things that I had to take care of, but we got into this conversation. I really enjoyed our back and forth here, particularly RBR. But yeah, man. What was it you were going to say? I got like another. I can give it another 10.
Well, okay, hold on. Let me mod him real quick because I'm on the phone right now. The issue that comes to my mind about these things is maybe just maybe you might be not necessarily colorblind, but text blind. I get what you're saying. If you make certain decisions and live a certain way and make the right choices, you should wind up in a particular position.
Yeah, you could do okay. I mean, you could do well for yourself. I've seen a lot of people do okay for themselves.
So how many people have you saw make a ton of mistakes and do well for themselves?
Oh, none. I mean, well, not none, but actually quite a few. But when it comes to shoot again.
How many of those people look like us?
How many of those people look like us? I mean, shoot, like people who lose and then make great comebacks. Yeah, I mean, I would probably say that there is a far less like it really does matter. Depends on who you're talking about. Because honestly, we're all like the white woman is the trump card to all of this bullshit. Like a white woman, she will be okay. But as far as a black man, yeah, there is far less room for error. I will gladly admit that. But there is also plenty of room for advancement. And there's spaces and opportunities available to us that our ancestors. I mean, I'm pretty sure you're a descendant as well. Our ancestors, like when they were getting their ass whooped, they couldn't even imagine some of the opportunities that would eventually be afforded to us. And I'd rather look at that with gratitude for what they went through as opposed to because they went through that, somebody owes me something. Some random individual owes me something due to their race. When in reality, that doesn't sit well with me. But then again, I have my dad, so like you gotta own that shit. My dad was always was all about ownership and hey, you know, it's on you. The choices that you make, they're on you. And so that collective mentality of, well, when I see, you know, the George Floyd thing go down, did it break my heart? Of course it broke. I think it broke everybody's heart, but that spoke to our humanity. I spoke to our emotions, and that in and of itself doesn't really, that's colorblind in and of itself, at least in my opinion, you know?
Humanity is not colorblind in America. It has never been. Humanity has never been colorblind in America. Ask anybody who's not white about how America is humane to them, and it ain't colorblind.
Some of the people who've ever treated me well in the course of my life, and I'm not speaking for, see, that's the thing, I don't speak for all of Black America. I can only speak for myself and my position. But some of the best people I've ever interacted with.
Hold on, Jay. This is why. This is what I mean by you might just be blind to it. I'm not talking about my experience personally. I'm talking about the collective experience that I've seen, that I've been told, that I've experienced collectively. And yes, collective, and I know people who are Black. Well, I've been treated pretty well. What about your family and friends? Have they been treated the same way as you?
Most of them don't deserve to be treated the same way as me. They assholes.
So basically, so here's the irony. If your family and friends are assholes, are you trying to tell me the vast majority of is America an asshole nation?
Yeah, of course.
So the majority of was America built or constructed by assholes?
Of course.
So everything about this country started from assholes.
Yeah.
So when the people who look like you are assholes, they deserve everything coming to them. What about the people who don't look like you, who have been ingrained to be assholes?
They're dead now. They got what was coming to them. As far as the people living today, if you didn't harm me, if you didn't do anything to me, I'm not going to say I judge you before
Your
because
value.
I feel like that would really be depriving of, you know, just like once again.
Your volume going is doing that low thing again, fam.
Okay, you know, can you hear me?
No, you like super low and bored. I can hear you, but it's you kind of like that transformer with the tapes, but super low.
Oh, gotcha. Is this better?
No, I can hear you a little bit louder, but it's not better yet.
I'm gonna take off anyway.
All right, take care.
All right, man. Thanks, man. I appreciate the conversation, brother.
All right, peace.
You be good, my guy.
All right, you too. Let me see. Okay.
Boy, that was an interesting conversation, don't you think?
Yeah, my bad. Damn, my bad, bro. I tried to hit the thing and I knocked you off. I'm sorry. See, for me, this is the problem.
Let me say something, L.A.R, about all this. This is the problem living here in this Western region. And not just West, but just the mindset of our people as a collective, globally. That we are very disconnected because we see something happen to one person, well, that's just him, not me. That's a disconnect because other groups, as much as Black people want to hear it, you're looked at as a monolith. What happens to this man or this sister also affects you. It might not affect you right there because you're not the victim, but it eventually will come to your doorstep. You get me? And this was the same argument that Mary had with another YouTuber. You get me? Mm-hmm. About the fiat currency and stuff. And I'm not saying people should not try to attempt to make money. No. But let you know, saying that this is something that's out of your control. So playing what DJ said, a rigged game, you should be understand how the game is being played and what you fit in this game, in this global system. No one say you should like to tackle and be afraid, but just be aware of it, you know? That as long as we are in a less power position and when we focus on individual power, you're not going to get far. You get me? Matter of fact, things that's put in place to disenfranchise us is by policy run by the same people that people like our people like to worship, these non-Black people.
You know what? Let me back up something since you here. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I got a little time. Yeah. When they were talking about Black business earlier, Black business having bad customer service, I thought about something, but I just didn't want to get in the middle of the conversation at the time.
Okay.
Non-black businesses isn't known for customer service. They're known for ambiance. Their stuff, their place looks great. They're not. There are a few um, businesses, and that's one thing that other groups have in general is they learned how to create a great ambiance in the place to make it look like, it looks new and clean. You don't frequent places that don't look new or clean. People in this society don't do like dive bars like that, like talking about. It has to have some type of look to it. Because I know black businesses that they do good because of the ambiance, and they can have good food, but it's the ambiance they get them. My bad, Cash. You can say whatever you want, fam. You ain't got to.
Yeah, and you're right. Think about this. Another person made an analogy of two major corporations, McDonald's and Burger King. And for I can remember that, let's say McDonald's doesn't have good quality food, but why people keep come back? Because the place looks clean, looks presentable, it's friendly. That alone will keep you in business.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, we don't really take a page out of how these other people run or organize their own business, especially corporations, big corporations, and the history of it.
Sorry, because
And
even McDonald's. I'm
yeah,
sorry.
yeah, and this is why why black people cringe to don't want to hear about the history of a lot of things, not only of our past, our present, but where we go in the future, and how others play into our history. I mean, I'm very advocate to tell people, young people, to get understand everything, learn as much as possible, and understand actual history. Because you're actually going to do to repeat it, regardless how you feel, or how it makes you feel, or you use cringe on it. Because I'm be honest with you, other race people, even ones that they call the Jewish people, they keep teaching you about their Holocaust. You think they think that history is not important to them? You're sadly mistaken. Why do you think they're in the position now that you can't even say nothing bad without getting what they call it canceled? We all see that happen with Nick Cannon. He was all talking about this black power nonsense, this more shit. You see him took a 360, right? Once they canceled him. You see that?
Well, I didn't keep up with it, but I can see that
Well,
happening.
yeah, well, I'm just telling you a little insight now that it's all bullshit at the end of the day because people don't want to understand basic information
Look,
and how it applies to your life and the collective. Yeah.
using Jewish people in America as an example, about using playing by the book. The only reason they got ahead as a group is they changed their names and blended into being white. Because
Exactly.
Jewish, when they let people know they was Jewish, they got X'd out of the quote unquote market.
Mm-hmm.
So if that's what they did. Italians, the Irish worked their way into being white just like the Italians did, but people forget that somehow all of the people that we think playing, a good old Americans who doing things the American way, the only way they were able to do it is by blending into being white. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
Even with the
And white,
Hispanic community.
and white is a status that's created by them. You get me?
Right.
And mind you, people understand everybody has different tribes and different what they call parts of Europe that they call themselves. But the reason why they're from on the opposite of white because if you remember, even after World War II, now a lot of them that were labeled this, they had to facilitate that they're white for the status to get the riches of this country. You know what I'm saying? It's like a barter. It's like a caste system, a very well structured caste system. Not only America, but other countries they play the same caste system. That people don't understand is that people are, they're actually this, but they fall on this banner because it's the shelter them from others, so they can tap into the wealth of this nation. And one thing that's good you mentioned about the Irish. If you look at Irish is heavily in the police force. You know what I'm saying? To the point where it's you could say something, but they're in an institution of power. Just like the Italians, I think they run the fire department, and maybe other culture groups. I forgot who. But even the Jewish people, they run money and commerce thinking, which is good, that these are institutions of power. It's going to come to the point that what institution of power black people want to fall under for their own self-preservation and protection. I say the Great Fall Initiative is one of those written papers that me and Charles Faulkner have on his own channel, and he's going to probably emphasize more now because I help him with his YouTube channel a little bit.
Yeah, shout out to Charles.
Yeah, these are things that have to push now, moving forward in this 21st century. We are in a generation of 21st century, first 20 years. I tell black people, where do you want to stamp yourself moving on the next 78 years, this century? Because they already planned what they want to see the world look like in the next century. What mark we're going to put ourselves in, not only here but globally. Because things are changing right now, and they're changing at a very accelerated rate right now. And this little back and forth about who's who, this, that, and all, it sounds good, it sounds entertaining, but it doesn't lead to anything that's going to lead us to where we need to be at. You know,
personally, I think one of our biggest issues is part of what you're talking about where we're going to be in the future, is because at the end of the day, we know everybody else doesn't have our best interest at heart anyways. So where these plans are being made for the future, we are nowhere in the room, for one. And for two, we know that they're doing something, whatever they want to institute is going to do something negative towards us. So part of our issue is we're so busy fighting so many different battles that we can't, like, I look at the black community like this. And I hate to say it this way, if you ever got jumped before, you don't know who to fight first. So if you got 3, 4, 5 people jumping you, if you want to fight back, you know, okay, if I pick one person, I'm not going to see one person. Because the people who jumping you already made up in their mind, we all jumping you. So in America, we've been getting jumped since day one. So when we fighting this person over here hitting us. Then we fight that person, this person over here hitting us. But not understanding that at some point, all these people have already made a plan of what to do while we're getting jumped. You know, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you're going to do this, and then we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this over here, and they're going to do this over here. And then they jump us. They don't just come out swinging like that. So now we got to also fight these people back, but also figure out their plans while we're getting jumped. That's a task that doesn't make sense to anybody. And, you know, me as a black man, even going back to using the Jewish people forget. Okay, my hypothetical question has always been the same thing. How successful do you think Jewish people would have been if they would have just been in Germany, if they had ended the Holocaust, but they would have all still lived in Germany? No Israel, no America, just Germany. It wouldn't go so well because they would be in the same environment, under the same military, with the same ideology of the people going over and over again. Maybe these people just don't kill them no more, but they're going to make sure that they won't be able to do a lot of different things in that society. It's the same thing. You know, this is where we're at. And, you know, and when we play by the book, we're playing by somebody else's book who change a rule. If you win, I'm going to change the rule. Okay, you weren't doing this, we're not doing that no more. See, they don't have that option anymore. Okay, somebody else wasn't doing that, we're going to take that away. No option no more. They did that. See, you're going to always have an anomaly. That's just part of society. The anomalies exist because of you can't bottle something down forever because something's gonna give. But as you know, if we play by the book, nothing's gonna happen. You know, I hate to say it that way, but Black America playing by the book has shown America that, you know what, if you do everything the quote unquote the right way at that particular time, America's not gonna like it. Because now all we're doing is going, okay, maybe y'all need to, okay, the reason why where you at right now is because you act like how you act like right now. But if you acted like those people in the 70s, and you acted like them or the ones in the 50s, it would all change for you. But it's the same country with some of the same family members and some of the same families and some of the same businesses and some of this and all of the same structures in the same space. So, okay, so you telling me if I get up, we all gonna get suits, we're gonna get short haircuts, and we're gonna go out there with briefcases and like we're gonna take on America in the corporate fashion, and nothing's gonna happen? No, something's still gonna happen. We're all gonna go to school, we're all gonna get degrees and PhDs and flood all of these markets. Something's gonna happen. You know, I'm not saying we shouldn't make efforts. I'm just saying playing by the book is kind of funny because, you know, we talk about black men being in the trades. Well, the reason why people are saying that Hispanics or Mexicans are always, you know, are fixing houses and building buildings and this, that, and the third is because a lot of the black men in the trades was bounced out because they was making too much money. They were in unions too. It was already designated that they had to make a certain amount of money for their job. So guess what? Let me undercut you and get quote unquote illegal immigrants and pay them less than you and pocket this money. Was that planned by the book? No. Do those construction companies owe all of the people that they've let go of all races to get quote unquote illegal workers for more than a decade? Do they? No. Does the government say, oh, you know what? All the guys that you fired for people who don't even belong to this country, they go. That's, you know, you owe them. It ain't no owing for that. So that's playing by the book. You know, we need to play like some triple gas the Crips. That's cold. But this is where we're at with society. You know, I get, you know, we have bad aspects of the culture. But what I don't get is if you take a dysfunctional black person, they're irredeemable in society. You take a dysfunctional non-black person, somehow they can find a way to at least be manageable in society. They can, like, I know white people with multiple felonies who do just fine, that if they were black, they would probably be doing 20 years right now. Rap sheet and all. You know, I know white guys who've actually got fired for white collar crime and embezzlement and went to jail and came out and still rich, even after doing the time and paying some restitution. You don't know black people who do that and don't get caught. You know, that's my issue with all of this stuff. Hold up. You know, the Hispanic culture, the Asian culture, they have. Go ahead, Cass.
But you gotta understand, L.A.R. The reason why they could do that is because this environment was structured for their own self-preservation. Us in their own structure that they control, obviously going to penalize us more because it's another emphasis of a power move. If black people start dealing with white people, we'll be pretty much on top of them. So what they do, they have to demonize us more than them. They know when they do these criminal things, it's natural because it's their thing. You get me? If people understand actual history, which people say they do, but they don't, criminality is a non-black thing. Murder, rape, embezzlement, also, that's their thing. That's why when they put harsh steps on them, it's like a slap of the wrist with their own group, especially with the men. So things that you know that could destroy millions of lives, you only get slapped in the wrist and go back, and when you have this, you go back and do the same crime again if you're lucky. And I think I remember one particular, I think it was a trader that embezzled a lot of people's money in regards to fixing the stock trade.
Bernie Madoff or
yeah. You know the movie that came out, The Wolves of Wall Street.
No, look, okay, Bernie Madoff was a pyramid scheme guy, but I live in Houston. Yeah. Okay, and people who live in Houston know what I'm talking about if they've been here long enough. One of the biggest guys was named it's like Sanford or Samsford or something like that, or something. He had a freaking bank. Like this dude he had his own bank that was across the street from the Galleria Mall. They took him to jail and carted him off because of his embezzlement and his theft and his pyramid schemes, because he had over like $1 billion scheme. You're not going to see somebody who's not white who could go to work every day and steal billions of dollars for a long extended period of time. Well, said, what was the, like, real said is in there. He said, what is that? What is the dude is like Samford, I want to say. He had that bank right across the street from the Galleria. And it was like early to mid 2000s, right after Enron, that he went to jail. See, we like these people, because even in the financial district, they tell people to play by the book and do, like, even when we get into, I hate to say this, but we want to get to law force, military, the justice system. They don't let a lot of black people, do things. From my experience, because my dad used to be a CO, that becomes a problem. Same thing when we get to politics, it's the same thing. You get to business and finance, it's the same thing. When you see Dr. T.S.R. Johnson, Tommy Curry, can they move around freely with their knowledge without having to play a different game? They put out multiple books and get published. You can't get that work. Other people put out 1 or 2 books. Matter of fact, Chaos, I'm gonna chill out, but I'm gonna say it this way. If Black America could play by the book and win, we wouldn't have all of these issues on YouTube. Because black channels on this.
I didn't catch that.
I said if Black America could win playing by the book, we would have bigger black channels on YouTube just by content alone. Because everybody who's black understands, I don't care if they do fun-loving material, or if they all the way to the spectrum of, I guess, what you call crazy, irrational material. That your channel is being measured and dialed back and messed with. So even with this, you can't actually move only so high up, because if you put out content with everybody else, they're going to make sure some people get unseen and some people get seen. That's why if anybody who watches these channels, you got a phone or computer, you'll notice if you're in black spaces, you're going to wind up getting notifications for stuff that you don't even look at.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's black, it's going to be something ratchet.
Yep. And I've started to learn this personally and here's deep how the rabbit hole goes. If you click onto any person's video on YouTube, right, you might get, and you're not subscribed, you get a notification on certain videos that they pick out that you should recommend. You get how that works? So if I click on your channel, right, L.A.R, and I'm not subscribed to your channel, let's say you do a live stream like this, or depending on the topic, the algorithm will pick it up, depending whose audience watch you, like it, whoever, they will notify me when I'm watching a channel that I'm subscribed to. There's a section called recommendations. If you scroll up on your app, or your phone, on your computer, right side, they'll recommend a video that was done by you either a week ago, days ago, or maybe now, depending on the subject. So the ceiling, like I said, for most people to understand, you don't get far at all in this space. If you're talking about not only black, but if you're a black person, which they know already, they won't let you go so high. But look how much content black people put out for years they've been on YouTube. A lot of their channels been gone, bro. But all the other ones that's non-black stay up and they're in the millions. And the same person that runs YouTube said they're gonna be more favorite to content creators for black content creators. That's a lie. The only code she said to y'all is, I'm gonna start hitting y'all more. Matter of fact, I will just take out a channel if needed, just to set an example. So I tell people many times, make use of the space now. Get the information now.
This is where we at. But you know what? I've been on here 2 hours. Y'all, thanks for coming. Let me go ahead and get out of here, y'all. I hope y'all have a wonderful day. I didn't want the
Yeah.
shenanigans. The RBR thing went a little too far for me. It just the little short dissing and all that. I got tired of that. So my bad. I'm just like, nah, dog, cut that shit out.
Mhm.
So that was a problem for me.
And a quick plug: subscribe to Chaos Friend channel. I won't be doing live stream till October first week. I'm then put on jail on YouTube a little bit. So if I appreciate anybody that really likes what I say or whatever, subscribe to the channel, hit the top bell. Once I go back live, I'm probably going to take a little different direction on my channel a little bit, not too slightly, but subscribe, and I'll be entertained with you. But thank you, L.A.R, for letting me up, give
All
my
right.
take, and thank everybody for listening to today's stream. Enjoy y'all week, guys.
Peace.